All right. So we're going to talk about the Medball clean. It's one of the foundational movements of CrossFit. When I learned it at my L1, like really learned it, like broken down, and when it started to make sense and it clicked, I actually PR'd my clean when I got this. That's how important a med ball clean is the movement. It's the same. It's you're moving around a ball, but the movement is the same, and we want to develop that good movement pattern, and doing it with the med ball allows for a lot of that movement to be a little bit more free, because you don't have a barbell in your hands. You're just moving around a ball. It's a little less intimidating for people. It's a really good way to learn the clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down for you guys into steps to really help hammer it home that you have to hit these individual steps in order for this med ball clean to be successful. We can do this with anything, obviously, with a med ball. We can do it with a basketball. We can do it with a soccer ball. I have a motorcycle helmet. You could do it with pretty much anything. You could do it with a box, whatever, something that you can move around. That's the good thing about the clean. So we're just going to get into it. I'm going to go over this with you. So what you want to start off with is whatever that object is, you want to establish whatever the top of that is going to be. So that way it stays up top the whole time, and it's a good visual for you. I like to think of it as, like, whenever I have a med ball, I like to keep the laces up, and I think of it as a fishbowl, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So whatever you have your object, establish a top. So whatever that may be, if it's an inflatable ball, maybe where the you would put the pin in to inflate it, that's a good little mark that you could use. So what we're going to do is we're going to place this object down on the ground, whatever we're using. We're going to stand around it to accommodate that object, keeping that chest up nice and tall. So if you had something printed across the front of your shirt, you should be able to read it if you were taking a picture of yourself. Coming down like this, and we're just going to deadlift that object like this. Reach those hips back, stand up, back, and up. So that's the first part. It's going to be a deadlift, okay? So remember, chest up, keeping those arms nice and straight. Now, the next thing is going to be a stand and shrug. Notice my heels came up a little bit. That's fine. Stand, shrug. One more time. Stand, shrug. So now, the arms are still staying straight through that shrug. Now we're going to shrug and pull, getting those elbows up nice and high. So I stand, shrug, pull. Right back down. Stand, shrug, pull. So notice I stand, I shrug, and pull. I'm not trying to shrug earlier. I stand up, shrug, and pull. So now we're going to do a power clean. So this is where that fishbowl analogy is going to come into play. So with the top of the whatever object you're using, make sure the top stays up. So we want to move around that object. We don't want to turn it into us like this. So if you're holding it, you don't want to go like this. Because if this was a fishbowl, I just dumped all my fish on me. I want to slide. So as I come up, I go through that shrug and pull. The hand moves around the object as I drop under, not moving the object to me. I'm moving around. So the hand goes like this. Notice you could take your palm and go like this, okay? So we're gonna do a power clean next. It's going to be a stand, shrug, pull, and drop under, and then stand up. One more time. Stand, shrug, pull, and drop under. Hands moving around. Now, from that position, elbows under, I'm just going to squat with this ball, or with this object, getting down below parallel, getting ready to receive in that bottom position for the actual med ball clean, just like that. So we have deadlift, deadlift, shrug, pull. We did a power clean which is important to move around that object, not turning that object into you. Now we're gonna go into a full med ball clean. So that means catching it in the bottom of that squat. If you have an issue with catching in the bottom of the squat, we can catch it high and then ride it down. So it could be a catch high and then squat down. But if we're trying to do the med ball clean as it's prescribed, we want to catch and stand. And this is where the med ball clean is completed, is when it's standing up. So we come back down, stand, and drop. Notice I'm going right into those next ones. A lot of people make that mistake of dropping the med ball. It's actually quicker and more efficient to hold on to that ball and then come back down, going right into that movement. So that's the med ball clean. Like I said, if you use this tool and you get very proficient at the med ball clean, it will translate to your barbell clean. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I hope you guys are doing well.